Hey, what's up, guys? It's Brandon Orr back with another video. What inspired me to do this video today is I get DMs every now and then from different people asking questions about the cleaning business, about when I used to work in the corporate world, and just different topics about business and in the cleaning industry specifically. So, one particular message I got yesterday, and it kind of moved me because the young lady said, you know, she found one of my videos, and what I said on that kind of resonated with her, and it kind of inspired her to kind of go a little harder to make a transition from the corporate world to from her 9 to 5. I don't know if it's in corporate or not, but from her 9 to 5 to a full-time cleaning business owner. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. How my journey went, how my situation was personally for me. And I know a lot of people want to know all the good stuff, like how do you get clients and how do you find people to work and all this good stuff. There's a ton of videos out there about that. I even talk about some of it on some of my interviews with other people in the industry. I will talk about that, but for right now, I just want to take a step back, guys, and give you a little bit more insight as to how we got here, how we got to being a full-time cleaning business owner. So, first thing is, when I graduated college in 2010, I went to work for a company in the corporate world doing HR recruiting. Okay, I did that for about a year, and I was looking on the other side where in the company there was some sales guys on the other side. And I noticed the culture on our side, on the recruiting side, was a lot different than the culture over on the sales side. So I'm like, man, they have more fun. Everybody walking around with a smile on their face. So I actually pulled, one of the guys by his coattail. I'm like, man, what's going on over there? I need to be where y'all at. He was like, man, it's the sales side. This where you need to be at. So, long story short, man, that was the beginning of my corporate sales career. Went over to the sales side. And believe it or not, man, I actually sucked. I got fired because I was just that bad. Um, didn't know how to make a cold call, couldn't make a cold call. I was afraid of my voice on the phone. I hated how I sounded on the phone. I had a really screechy voice. And when it came to people asking me certain questions or difficult questions that I didn't have an answer for, I would stumble over my words. It was just terrible. It was bad, man. It was super bad. So but what happened was in that time period, I felt like I wasn't going to allow sales to defeat me. So I put it in my head that I was going to get better. I was going to do what it takes to master sales. I said, I'm not going to suck for long. Pause. I'm not going to be this terrible for long. I can't allow myself to be in this position to where I can't even close an appointment. I can't even set up an appointment to meet with somebody over the phone. I'm not going to be that person who is not able to be able to do that, right? So what I did was I worked a little bit harder. I did end up getting another job in sales where I learned more, and I got my skills set up a little bit. And I learned simple things that allowed me to feel more comfortable on the phone. That allowed me to build that confidence that I needed. And what's crazy is everything that I learned back then, it kind of translates over into the cleaning business industry. So uh, um, um, if you hear me on any other interviews on any other platforms, you will notice that I do talk about cold calling. I do talk about picking up the phone. Okay. So I am pro cold call, guys. It's the fastest and least expensive way to get in the door of a client. Okay. You could roll over out of the bed and literally pick your phone up and call somebody and potentially close them for an appointment to meet with you to discuss cleaning services, right? So, long story short, guys, um, I worked in SaaS sales. What that is software as a service. Okay. I sold SaaS software in the financial services industry as well as the HR services industry. Okay. So I did that for about 10 years, and then I took a big jump and went over to pharmaceutical sales, okay, where I was selling generic drugs to corporate to pharmacies in my first pharmaceutical job. And then in my second pharmaceutical job, I worked for a government contractor. So I sold drugs to, well, basically, I structured deals to be able to sell certain generic drugs to the federal government. Okay, so that was a lot more analytical. And each one of my positions that I've ever held in the corporate world, I've learned from every last one of them. Um, and one important role that I did have was a business performance advisor. And I'll share the name of this company because I believe in what they do. They're a great company. It's a company called Insperity. Wonderful company. I learned a lot about business. I learned a lot about the inner workings of a company. I learned a lot about overhead, just all of these other things that we don't tend to think about, payroll burden and your true labor cost and all of these little words that you really don't think about when you're a novice and you're just out there saying, hey, I just want to start a business. That's all I want to do. I want to be an entrepreneur. You're not thinking about all these other things. So I was blessed enough to be able to have that opportunity to learn these things and be able to apply some of that knowledge into our family business today. So enough of the boring stuff, guys. But anyway, one day I was just at the office and I was like, man, I want to get this cleaning thing really going. I want to get it going. I want to get it going. And finally launched the cleaning business as a property preservation company, which was cleaning foreclosed homes for banks. Okay. Started out slow and eventually my sister and I, that's who I started it with, and one of my frat brothers, we kind of let it go. We all were just too busy and focused in our careers to where we didn't have enough time to devote to the business. So we did let it go. And then what happened was I did relaunch. I relaunched and rebranded the company, and I made a decision. Okay, I always talk about making a decision because whenever you want to do something, it's either you're on the fence, right? A lot of us get hung up on the fence, like I want to do it, but we may be held back by fear. We may be held back by the not enough belief, right? Not believing that we can do it, not believing that we can exceed at it. So I was at that point, but I was like, hey, I'm do or die, baby, let's get it. So I didn't allow fear to hold me back. And I just dove right in. I just jumped at it, right? So what happened was I started cleaning homes, right? And I was looking at the money from cleaning homes, um, compared to kind of what I was making by the day at my job. I was making great money, but the amount of time that I was spending on cleaning a home, what, 2, 3 hours, if it was a big job, maybe 4 hours. But you literally bring home a couple $100 in hours. You know what I mean? There's people who work 8 hours a day and was making what I was making in 2 hours, 3 hours. So math was math, and it made sense to me, right? So made a full thing in, man. So I had a goal. I was like, hey, I'm gonna clean 5 houses a day. If I get one every day, let's do it. Boom. Then we, worked our way up to that. I was cleaning, a house every day. I said, now I need to start getting double booked. Started getting double booked, on certain days. Start cleaning 2, 3 houses a day. To the point where I hired help. Okay, hired somebody else. And I want you to pay attention to this because a lot of people think that they got to be the everything in their business. You can't be the everything in your business, right? Because what happens is it's only one you, right? So if you go out here, and I'm talking about both residential and commercial folks, if you go out here trying to clean everything up under the sun, when will you have time to actually grow the company? Okay. So if you're a technician, when will you be the salesperson, right? And this is your company, right? So the best salesperson for your company is a person who started, right? Because you got the most belief in it, right? So I see that mistake a lot, but I learned early on that I was going to hire somebody, right? So I brought on people. to kind of do jobs. I'm on one side of the town, and on another side of the town, we knocking out 4 jobs a day, things like that. So growing the business, guys. And where I think I really realized that this was for me is when I had the first $10,000 month, which was in 2019, September of 2019. Uh, I looked down at my phone. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a good month. And at the end of that night, I'll never forget. I looked down at my QuickBooks. I use QuickBooks, by the way, and it said 10,000 something. I'm like, man, that's crazy. Like, wow, $10,000 in 30 days. I don't know about y'all, but I come from the west side of Chicago. Some of the guys that make $10,000 in 30 days, they ain't cleaning no toilets. I ain't gonna say what they're doing, but to be able to make that amount of money and not have to, be running or watching over my shoulder all the time or running from the police and nothing like that, it felt kind of good. So I said, I'm gonna take this thing even further. Let's start cleaning buildings and offices. So I started prospecting and going after buildings and offices on foot, right? Brought one of my best friends. He was the best man in my wedding. He and I went up and down the streets of Chicago, passing out flyers, man, and spreading the word, man. So, and that's fun, man. When you're in the trenches, it's fun, and you get to really um, um, dive in and dig deep into what's inside of you because you don't have a lot of money coming in right, at that moment. You don't have just a flood of customers beating down your door, and you'll never have that. But you just you're at a very humble place, and what you're doing is keeping things simple. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see a lot of cleaning business owners make is once we start to grow, we want to start getting fancy. But when I tell you the basics are the basics, whatever you did to get to that point, stick to that. You may want to add some different systems or things that'll help you to streamline your process. But as far as the basics, which is sales and getting people to clean, you keep those exactly the same. That's my opinion. Keep them the same. You may increase it. As your revenue increases, you may want to, 10x it or 2x it, 5x it, whatever. But whenever your revenue increases for your cleaning business, your budget for your sales should increase as well. Okay. So, but anyway, man, we are doing really great. We're operating in Illinois and Texas. So we have Chicago and the surrounding areas. We also have here in Dallas, my wife and I and our family, we relocated in 2019. So remember I told you September of 2019 was our first 10 grand month. So that helped us to actually relocate across the country. So if you do have a goal of relocating, or that's something that you and your partner or you and your kids or you and whoever have been discussing and talking about, hey, that may be a sign. Because I think us relocating skyrocketed our business because when you relocate and move, you are outside of your comfort zone. All right. You don't have no family, you don't have no friends like that or whatever, but it allows you the opportunity to lock in and focus, man. Despite what TikTok and Instagram and all the social media says, running a business is extremely hard. It is hard. All right. Outside of building my family, it's probably the second hardest thing I've ever done in my life, guys. So you want to be able to focus. You want to be able to eliminate any distractions that will cause any room for error, right? So because you got to be sold out. If you ain't sold out to what you're trying to do, it's not gonna work. You'll have a hustle and you'll be hustling for the rest of your life. Anybody you see who've been doing the same thing for the rest of their life, they ain't made no money more than what they made last year, and they just there. They just doing it and going with the motions. That's being a hustler. But if you really truly want to be an entrepreneur and grow an actual business, you have to lock in. You have to. So that means sacrificing. That means eliminating distractions. And it may hurt because it's uncomfortable and it's painful. But when you go through the fire, you come out a diamond. Okay. So those small sacrifices, guys, will pay off in the long run. So we have about a little bit over 10 clients. We've done multiple six figures. We do have a goal. Our goal is to get to 7 figures. And we've had as many as about 12, 13 people working for us at once. across 2 states. Um, and what am I leaving out, man? Um, that's it, man. So we still running, we still grinding, we still got our head down. We out in the trenches. It's fun, it's stressful, it's a good stress. But if I could leave you with anything, I'm gonna say make a decision, guys. If this is something that you really want to do, I would say be all in. Okay. That don't mean quit your job tomorrow, but get a plan together that will help you to quit your job whenever the time is right. Okay. And utilize some of the funding that you get from your job, fund your business with it. Okay. So lay off the Jordans, lay off the vacations every other month, you know, bottle popping, sacrifice all that, put that money back into your business. And I promise you, your life will change for the better. I'm Brandon Orr. Follow me on Instagram. I'm gonna find a way to put a link somewhere on here, man. This ain't my thing, but I'm gonna do more videos. And send me a message, like this video, subscribe, send me some messages, whether it's here on Instagram. Tell me what you guys would like for me to blah, blah, blah. Tell me what you guys would like for me to share. And I'll be coming with some other stuff too. All right, more cleaning stuff. So that's my journey. Boy Brandon Orr. Thank you so much, and I'm out.